Hello and welcome to our latest edition of West Coast XC. I'm your host, Ken Martinez. If you're watching this, then you're watching on YouTube. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Really appreciate your support, and it helps us provide the coverage that we have been given to you in the past and plan to do in the future. If you're listening to this on a podcast, then you're listening to it on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Please give us a follow also. In today's episode, we're wrapping up the cross-country season, so we talk with Keenan Gray of DyeStat and Runner Space, and he gives us his highlights of the cross-country season, so stick around for that. And I'd like to talk about the last meet of the cross-country season. I went to San Diego, California for the Brooks XC Championship. This was the meet that was formerly called Foot Locker. Everything about the meet seemed the same. The course was the same. The introductions were the same, and it was but it was done by Brooks, and they did a really great job. And one of the things they did really well is give out this golden ticket, which made the meet even more exciting than it has been in the past. And so let me go through some of the highlights here. In the girls' race, it was a repeat of NXN, the same order. So Natasha Dudek of Ann Arbor Pioneer wins it in 16:55, and in second place, close second place, was Blair Bartlett of Lawrenceville, New Jersey at 16:57. 1-2 finished just like the previous weekend in Portland, and the third place went to a local gal named Jaelyn Williams. She's from Eastlake in Chula Vista, which is south of San Diego. Local girl does great, finishes third. Sophia Salazzi of Athens, Ohio, finishes fourth at 17:19. And Abigail Hennessy of Westford Academy of Massachusetts finishes 17:21. Special shout out to Jaelyn Williams. West Coast is the best coast, from California, Eastlake High School. But also I want to give a shout out too for Braylon Combe of Santiago Corona. She was the next highest West Coast finisher. She finished 18th and running it 18 flat. In the boys' race, it was also a kind of a repeat of the previous weekend at NXN. The top four runners were the same top four runners, except the order was different between second and fourth. Before the meet started, I had heard that maybe Jackson Spencer would try to break Ruben Reyna's course record that he set in 1985, the 40th anniversary of the course record there at Balboa Park Morley Sports Field Complex. But when the gun went off, Jackson Spencer of Harriman was not trying to go for the record. In fact, he seemed like he was like in 20th place when I saw him at the mile mark. And then he was in 5th place at the 2-mile mark. So he was gradually moving up and going for the win instead, which is what he did. Finishes undefeated, runs 15:10.7. Marcelo Montagon of Jesuit Berlin runs 15:10.9. Now, you'll hear in our next segment here with Keenan about the long straightaway finishes. I do get to see that at certain courses. You can just look down and see the racers come. But I think maybe because of Morley Field, it must be a little bit of a hill. You can't see the finish. And so we're just listening to the announcer over the loudspeaker telling us that Jackson was in first, then Marcelo was in first, then Jackson was in first, then Marcelo was in first. And it went back and forth. I did not get to see the finish, but just hear it. And then I saw that Jackson held off Marcelo for the win. Third place was Caden Leonard of South Lake Carroll at 15:18.4. So Caden finishes third for the second straight week. And Johanes van Meerten finishes fourth. He had finished second at NXN, running 15:21.2, just barely beating Sean Fries of Minnetonka at 15:21.6. So pretty close race between fourth and fifth. The West Coast athletes we want to give a shout out for is Conor Lott, finished 7th place at 15:30.3. Conor Lott of Clovis North. He got a golden ticket and used it well. And then Blake Bay of Fresno Christian, another kid from the Fresno area, finished 16th place at 15:46.4. Had a really nice race. And so those were some of the highlights of a really fantastic day in San Diego. As the races were over, I got to talk to a few athletes, and so I'd like to introduce them to you. First person you'll hear from is Jaelyn Williams. I asked her about her race. Jaelyn's from Eastlake High School in the San Diego area. Then you'll hear from Conor Lott, who finished 7th at Clovis North. He talks about his race. And then I talked to Johanes van Meerten of Flagstaff. Finished 4th in his race, in the boys' race. And just asked some short interviews about how they felt the races went and asked them a little bit about their season highlights. And when we're done with those interviews, we'll go right into talking with Keenan about his highlights of the season. I'm with Jaelyn Williams of Eastlake High School, 3rd place today at Brooks. What did you think of your race?
I mean, I'm satisfied with how I raced, you know. It went out pretty fast, and so I think I spent a little bit of energy just trying to stay with the leaders. So probably in the future, just maybe hold off a little bit more throughout the race so that I can have something at the end. That last part was a little rough, but I mean, I think I managed to do all right, and even with me kind of like stumbling to the finish, I think I placed pretty well, so I'm happy.
It was the same 3 girls a week ago, different course. So did you have a different strategy today?
Pretty similar strategy, but I mean, it kind of looked the same kind of like throughout the race, like the way we race it, like pretty similar. So there wasn't any like really big surprises, but I did try to go for it at some point, and I kind of fell off a little bit, but I mean, I'm happy that I went for it. So.
Well, congratulations on a great season, and we'll see you in track season.
Thank you.
Thank you. I am with Conor Lott of Clovis North, finishing 7th here at Brooks. How did your race go?
I'd say it went very well. I think it was a lot about focusing and learning from my mistakes I made at NXN, and I did that well. So definitely happy with it.
And what did you learn from last week?
About 2K into NXN, I definitely lost focus hard. I was actually very close to the front. I didn't realize that. So going into this, I was all about just keeping my head in the game and realizing this is my last chance and I have to try and make it count. And so I learned just to stay focused through all the little nudges and pushes from people and losing places early. And I think I did that well. I moved up really well.
Well, Conor, you had a great season. What were some of your highlights?
I would say Portland was probably one of the first ones. Probably big one because that was my first sub 15 ever. And then from there I went into a little slump, but after championship seasons I came out of it, and the state meet went really, really well for me. I think I executed well. NXN didn't go great, but this is probably just as high, the highest light I think I could have hit, because I did as best I could. I think it was a great race.
Were you thankful that you got the golden ticket?
Absolutely. The NXN again didn't go very well, so I was glad I got one more shot to try and do my best and show that I could make my mark on California a little bit.
Well, Conor, thank you so much.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
We're with Johanes van Meerten of Flagstaff High School, 4th place finisher today in the Brooks XC Championship. Johanes, how did you think your race went?
Overall, a little bit disappointed in my race. I felt like I was definitely capable of getting third, top 3 again. Upset that I came up one short and got, I got 4th. A little bit upset about that, but overall, can't really change that race now.
But you are a junior.
Yeah.
So you get to come back.
Yeah, I'm happy to get to come back, But, still going to stay for, another year that, I was able to get top 3 in a race I wanted to. Yeah.
So you ran here last year, and you are here again. What lessons have you learned about the course?
A lot of lessons, it was like kind of had to work on that second hill. Didn't really do that today. Kind of gave up right at that second hill, which you're upset that I did that wrong. But I kind of gave up at that second hill. And I probably was going with no purpose for probably 500 meters. And at the last, I was able to, pull it all together, at least get 4th. So, yeah.
So you've had an incredible season. What was your highlight this year?
I think my highlight was definitely getting second at NXN. That's probably my biggest highlight we're going to walk away this year.
Well, thanks a lot, Johanes. Congratulations.
All right, thank you.
Hey, we're happy to have Keenan Gray from DyeStat on. Hey, Keenan.
Not my normal setting, guys. I'm actually in Dallas, Texas at this point right now. So I'm at a convention down here for the USTFCCA that there's a lot of season at. and that acronym, but yeah, down here in Dallas. So yeah, but I'm making the time for you. So it's great to talk about some great highlights from the cross country season.
Yeah, we really do appreciate you making time for us. What are some things you're seeing at the USTFCCA?
Yeah, I mean, it's just, it's Division 1, Division 2, Division 3, NAIA, JUCO. I mean, it's pretty much the entire, you know, collegiate landscape of coaches are right here in Dallas, Texas at this convention. And, they're here to obviously like learn new tools and get better and, interact with each other and, learn from, the future coaches are learning, from the present coaches. They got the Hall of Fame ceremony for the collegiate coaches. They also got the Bowerman presentation this week as well. So, and I get a chance on one of the days to interview all 6 Bowerman finalists for our brand new season of pending ratification, season 2. If anybody has tuned in to season 1, we had 6 high school athletes. It's kind of our pilot season to kind of just get our foot in the door and see what that looked like. And we decided we're going to have season 2 be the 6 Bowerman finalists and learn a bit about more, of course, what they are like away from the track. Because, of course, everyone knows whether it's collegiate records by Doris and Savannah Sutherland or, U.S. title from Jacoby Tharp, 4th place from Nathaniel Ezekiel in the Tokyo final in the 400 hurdles, but we're going to learn a little bit more about them for what they are away from the sport. So I'm really excited for that opportunity. But yeah, it's been fun. We've been here now for a couple of days, and it's just always great to see familiar coaches and interact with them. Like I was hanging out with the Iowa State head coach last night. I was hanging out with Shelby Houlihan's sister Shayla Houlihan, who's at GCU. I mean, there's you name the coach, they're probably here. So.
And they're going to announce the Bowerman, and you're going to include that with your new season of pending ratification. For people who have not seen the first season, you can go on DyeStat, where you interview.
Well, it's on runnerspace.com, so you can
runnerspace.com.
Yeah, so if it's on runnerspace.com, it's on Athletic TV.
Okay.
You can also find out on pretty much any stream or podcast platform, Apple Podcast, Spotify, YouTube. That's where you can find it.
And you're going to continue on during track season too.
Yeah, we're planning to do season 3 kind of towards the beginning, maybe the middle of the indoor season where we're going to turn the focus to pro athletes. And then who knows what the future of pending ratification looks like after season 3. Maybe it's, we do longer length seasons because we are doing shorter seasons. Like I said, the first season was 6 episodes. Season 2 is going to be 6 episodes, and I think we're going to add an additional 2 episodes for season 3 when we're talking with some pro athletes, leading up, whether it's to Worlds or even USA's.
Fantastic. So I invited you on because we just finished our last high school cross country meet on Saturday in San Diego, the Brooks XC Championship. So it's time to get nostalgic and think about this last fall in high school cross country. And I invite you on to give me some of your 5 highlights from the season. And let's start off with a meet in California in September that's done at night. What do you remember about that meet?
Well, I think we all know it's Woodbridge, of course, the premier meet of the cross country season at the kind of the kickstart the season. It's really kind of the first meet that we broadcast on Runner Space 2 to kick off our fall season. But it delivers time after time again. And this year's girls race was great. It was great to see another Timpview I guess not Timpview repeat, but another Timpview athlete winning. I know Jane won it 2 years ago, I believe.
Yeah, that's
and
right.
Then of course last year was Riley Blade, but this year Lily Alder facing off against Kiara Daly. 2 seniors that are going to be seeing each other again here in indoor season, get ready to duke it out on the track. Because to me personally, they are, they're great 1,600 meter and 800 meter runners, and they've shown signs of being great 5K, 3K, but they really excel on the track. So this was really fun to kind of see these middle distance stars duke it out. I mean, it was from gun to tape. You were there, you saw it. They were battling back and forth, and then Lily had that little bit of a surge towards the end of that race. And, that was just another part of the history of Woodbridge is you're going to have great finishes. I don't know if any finish will be as good as Owen Powell and Josiah Tossinson. I don't think there's anything that can really top that from what we saw 2 years ago. That was arguably one of the best finishes, one of the best races probably in high school cross country history in terms of, just how close it was and just by the decibel. And then, it's fitting that they're both teammates now at the University of Washington. And excited to actually get to see Owen race. I talked with his dad. Owen will be racing, it sounds like, this indoor season. So it'll be contributing right away as he redshirted this cross country season. But circling back to the Woodbridge race, I mean, that was a good statement from Lily Alder. It was an interesting year for Lily. She had kind of had like a roller coaster type of year. She had some great moments. She had some not so great moments. I think she finished off the cross country season strong. She earned All American honors at both Brooks and Nike Cross Nationals. So I think for her getting that signature win at Woodbridge, I mean any kid would dream of winning the sweepstakes race at Woodbridge. But as I said, great race between her and Kiara Daly, really kind of just to get the season started.
I'll say that the NXR Southwest race is almost like a national championship in itself. It's so competitive, and she won that, which was and came from behind too. It was not like she had a tough.
No, and that was a huge confidence builder, I think, for her going into the to the national championships, because she wasn't the fastest girl out of the state of Utah after the state championships. It was actually Rosalind Stoey who had the better performance, I believe, out of Class 6A, and Tippview is Class 5A. So I think Lily was running a little bit with a chip on her shoulder. She wanted to be able to prove that something that she's not just a track star. She's also can do it on the cross country course as well. And as I said, she proved that at both NXN and Brooks.
And I was at that meet, and one of the great things about that finish, you can see it. It's a long straightaway, and you can see the two girls coming towards the finish, and so it was very exciting. And now we'll go to number 4. Mount Sac changed their course last year, and it's a 3-mile course, though. The course before that was like 2.93 or something like that. Now it's 3 miles. Yeah. And there were boys breaking 15, which is pretty significant. But you, for number 4, saw something even more amazing than just the boys breaking 15.
Yeah, well, that was my first time to go down to Mount Sac. Like I had been to the Mount Sac relays this spring, earlier this year. I had never been to the cross country meet, so that was another unique opportunity to go down to Walnut and go experience this meet. And the fact that I got to witness a young man, Johanes van Meerten, do what he did, coming down from Flagstaff. I mean, I knew something was gonna, something big was gonna happen based off what he did, him and Oliver Horton did at Desert Twilight, where those two went I think they both were under the course record at Desert Twilight, 1424, 1426 on that same exact NXR Southwest course. But that course at Mount Sac, and again, I didn't know anything necessarily about it. I heard people, talk about Poop Out Hill, which no longer exists anymore. But you still got to go up that long climb. It seems like I don't know how much an elevation it really is, but it's a grind because you got some switchbacks you got to do as well. And not only is it just one hill, I mean, you got another hill towards the end of the race before you head back to the track to finish that you have to worry about. But the way that Johanes just ran that race, and he was pretty patient, I think, from the start of the race. I think once he hit the switchbacks, he just pretty much turned it on and just let it rip, especially going downhill, to separate himself from the rest of the group. And I think when it was all said and done, he ran 14:10, which a remarkable 3-mile time on that course. I mean, and it was perfect conditions too. It was, about 60 degrees or something like that. Like, it was a little foggy too. So, I mean, like, it was absolutely perfect, but just the way he ran that with so much confidence and just be able to get away from the field. I think he ended up winning by like 35 seconds or something like that.
Yeah, he was on the track by himself. He finished on the track.
Or maybe he broke the course record by like 36 seconds or something like that, because Trey Caldwell, prior to that, had broke the new established course record in 14:46. But it really put in perspective when, this kid from Flagstaff just let it rip and just, he's a special talent. And I asked him after the race, I'm like, dude, are you excited to get after it in the postseason? Like, the Southwest, as it always is a gauntlet of a meet. And, he finished third at that regional. And then he really, he showed a lot of heart within the last 10 meters at NXN to pass Caden Leonard to get that second place. And then, maybe not saying he had an off day at Brooks, finished 4th. I mean, again, that was a really quality field that day. Yeah. I mean, the guys that finished top 4 at NXN were the same guys that finished top 4, just in a different order. Right. Basically, it was Marcelo and Johanes switching places there. But yeah, no, I'm excited to see, what Johanes and Marcelo do next year. I think those are, to me right now, I think Marcelo is going to be the number 1 returner, and I think Johanes is going to be the second guy. So those are those are going to be the two guys that are going to be battling next year for the national title. But yeah, Mount Sac was great, and Johanes, absolutely talented kid.
Now, on the next one on your list is a young man that had an outstanding season. Doesn't know how to.
Yeah, so I mean, as I was kind of processing, like, what are my highlights for the year? I want to acknowledge the fact that Jackson Spencer's season was a historic one in the sense of, winning both national titles. I believe the first time since 2010 that an athlete had done that. And then, the course records that he broke. I mean, he opens up the season at Woodbridge, runs, I believe, like 14:20 something or no, not even that. It was like 13 something for that course. I mean, just really kind of like getting the year started, because for him last year was really kind of like that next step he took to get himself in the position that he's at right now. I mean, and it helps when you surround yourself, arguably, maybe it was one of the best trios in the entire country, and Tayshawn Ogomo, and then the Tang twins. And unfortunately, they graduated, so that left Jackson kind of not left hanging by any means, but he's the guy now that has to step up and continue to progress, but what's without those guys. And so, early statement, 13:42 at Woodbridge, great start. And then, goes to Timpanogos, runs 15:02, which that's not an easy course by any means. That's at 45,000 or 4,500 feet, I should say. If we're talking 45,000 feet, he's in the atmosphere.
Yeah.
And then he goes to Clovis, and arguably probably this is his race of the entire year, goes and breaks the Woodward Park course record and just completely dismantle the entire field, which is a remarkable achievement. And then he kind of had his Utah State meet, broke Casey Klinger's state record as well. Like, I mean, record after record is just coming. But he finally got a test at NXR Southwest for the very first time. And, that's a qualifier. So it's really mostly about, just getting yourself in a position to be top five. I mean, Harriman was going to make it regardless. I believe they got second to Niwot in that region. So, Jackson did his part, obviously, to get that solo 1 point for Harriman, but, he had to work for it the last, I think, K or so. I mean, he was, I think, trailing a couple of the athletes throughout that race, and then really, kind of put that pedal to the metal, that long straightaway. It just seems like there's a lot of these courses, NXR courses this year, had so many long straightaways. Midwest had a long straightaway. South had a very, very long straightaway at that new course in College Station. And then, of course, you got Southwest on that long stretch on that golf course. But that was for me, that was his first real test of the season, and he passed it. Which then again, you go to Nike Cross Nationals, and now you're throwing not only the Southwest guys in the mix, you're throwing Marcelo Manticon in the mix, you're throwing Caden Leonard in the mix. Obviously, you got Johanes, the duo from Niwot, and Hunter Robbie and Quinn Sullivan. I mean, you got guys all over the country coming in. Sean Gray, just like, to me, and you say it year after year, it's the best NXN. Well, I mean, to me, it really was the best race this year on the boys' side, because it went right down to the wire. I mean, we're talking like these guys were right with each other at the terraces. Sorry, they were at the terraces, and they were just like right side by side with each other and just battling back and forth. And you can tell how much those guys really wanted it. I mean, Sean Freese takes it out and, kind of sets the tone early on, and it's a little bit of a conservative start, but, I think that played in Jackson's favor towards the end of that race. Cause at that point it's strength. It doesn't matter if you have the best kick. It's all about strength at those terraces. So I think, that was a great race. But overall, like, Jackson had a remarkable season that, a lot of people will not forget for a long time.
Yeah, I watched him at Woodbridge, dismantle that field. I mean, those are good kids that are coming in. Same with, and then also, you talk about breaking the course record at Utah. German Fernandez has had the record in Fresno for the longest time, and so those are another storied California athlete.
Yeah, I mean, again, like you throw these names in the conversation, like who he's beating these course records. Again, German Fernandez at Woodward Park. It's like, okay, yeah, that's remarkable. Casey Klinger, two-time national champion, and the only two-time national champion on the boys' side in NXN, breaks his course record. Woodbridge was a little bit of a different course this year than they had in years past, but still, one of the fastest times you'll see on that course, and did it in a solo effort. I mean,
Yeah.
if I'm mistaken, he won that race by 18 seconds. I mean, just completely
He was
destroyed
way
the
out in
field.
front. Yes, he destroyed that field. Yeah, and then last week I saw him in San Diego, and he went. I have to tell you, if you see a kid go at 20th place in the first mile, you're like, well, maybe it's just not his day. But he knew what he was doing.
I mean, honestly, because that course is so tough, he ran that race perfectly. Like
He
he
did.
let you know what, Marcelo, you want to take it out. Whoever else out there front, you want to take this race out, by all means, go for it. Because again, it comes down to the strength piece, especially, when you're doing back to back to back weekends of racing. It's, you're not necessarily doing 10Ks like the NCAA where you have your regional and then the next week you're running another 10K, but it's still exhausting. I mean, you're racing now. I mean, his first race of the year, September, last race of the season, beginning of December. I mean, that's a long, long
Yeah,
season on top of the fact that you're training throughout the entire summer. So that's a long time. But Doug Souls knows how to get his guys ready,
he
and
was
it
ready.
it, it showed with how prepared I think Jackson was for all those races.
So our next on your list is a fantastic finish at an NXR race.
Yeah, that was probably NXR Midwest Boys Championship race was one of the best finishes we've seen all season long. And back to my point about such a long straightaway. I mean, there were when they made that turn, and anybody knows Laverne Gibson course is when you make that final turn, you go right underneath where the start area is. And I kid you not, Ken, I believe there was at least like six guys with and I want to say that whole entire stretch, maybe it's not quite a half mile, maybe it might be a half mile, but I mean, there are six guys right there, and you can see the finish line, and you just don't realize how far away it is because all of a sudden you're like, all right, I got to start ramping it up now, and just you got some guys that are really solid track guys in there, like Philip Supiol, really, really good 800-meter runner. I mean, runs like 150. I believe he dipped under 150 last year. Um, to me, that race was set up perfectly for him because then he could just go out kick everybody. Well, that wasn't necessarily the case because Carson Dreimeyer was right on his, what, the entire time towards that finish line. And you got guys, I think it was like five guys within, 4 or 5 seconds of each other. I have to double check here real quick, but I mean, like, it's just, knowing that that's one of the hardest regions to qualify out of the NXR series because Laverne Gibson is one of the tougher courses in the entire NXR series. The only course I think that's, a little bit tougher is maybe Bowden Park there in the New York Northeast region. But I'm looking at it right now. Yeah, you had four guys, as you say, you had four guys finish within 5 seconds of each other. The top three were within 2 seconds of each other. So you had Supiel win the race, Dreimeyer finish second, Kamari Ronfield finishing third, McGovern fourth, and then Bryce Fuller was 10th, and he was 8 seconds behind those guys. And those top five spots, I believe none of the Ann Arbor Pioneer did, I believe, qualify for as a team, but that's a hard thing is like if you don't know like who's in
Right.
front because like it's those top five guys could all be individuals and you're that sixth guy and you're like crap, I'm not going to nationals. So
Right.
that makes it really, really challenging. So yeah, that was a really fun race to watch, and I know the season did not quite end as well as Philip hoped to end it, but I think he finished like 187th at nationals, but
Hmm.
one of the best races all season long. So yeah, I think that was arguably the best boys race all year.
Wow. And then you think the best girls race is one of your five
It's not
highlights.
even just the best girls race; it's the best race of the entire season.
Okay, tell me about it.
So, girls NXN championship race was by far the best race. To me, it's up there with Alexa Ephraimson, Sarah Baxter, Elise Cranny, like that type of finish right there, where you had Elise Cranny, Sarah Baxter out front. You didn't think Alexa Ephraimson was even going to be remotely close when they made that turn after they went over the hay barrels at Portland Meadows, and actually Doug Binder, our editor, had a chance to talk with Alexa about that race, and that was actually my first chance to actually look at those highlights about that race, and just I remember him telling me like this was the greatest high school girls race
Mhm.
at the time, at least like
Great.
ever, just because of the significance of what Sarah Baxter, she was trying to go for a three-peat. Elise Cranny, one of the best runners out of the Colorado ever. Alexa Ephraimson, to me, the GOAT of Washington distance running. I mean, you don't just turn pro your senior year and not be one of the best to come out of the state of Washington. But again, just the fight and the determination that Alexa had. This year's race in particular, it was different in the sense of, instead of, with Alexa chasing down Sarah and Elise, you had both Blair Bartlett and Natasha Dudek chasing down Jaelyn Williams after Jaelyn Williams decides, with 2K to go, I'm going to go take this race. I don't know if it's going to be the right decision or not. I'm just going to try to separate myself because this is what happening. It's just happening in the moment. Sometimes, kids make those moves and you're like, well, I put myself in this position. Might as well stay in it, see how long I can last for. And just the patience from both Bartlett and Dudek, especially Dudek, sophomore. I mean, I don't even know if she has her license or her permit or her driver's license yet. I mean, the patience that she had, just the maturity that she had, knowing that, 2K is not that much, Ken. It really isn't. Like, it goes by in a blink of an eye. It's like probably, 6 minutes or so. And, her ability to, well, it might be a little bit longer than that, but her ability just like to stay patient and like trust their training towards the end of that race was remarkable. And on top of the fact, I think she had a lot of help from Blair Bartlett towards the end of that race because Blair was not letting go either. Mm-hmm. And so those two were working in tandem, trying to chase down Jaelyn Williams. And as always, the terraces play a factor in how the race plays out. And, Jaelyn Williams slowed up a little bit on the terraces, and both Dudek and Bartlett gained momentum and just went right by her up those terraces and was gone from there. So, it may not necessarily been like the same finish, maybe like what Caitlin Toohey, Sydney Thorfelton, I'm blanking on the other girl's name, when Caitlin got the 3-peat right there. I mean, that was like right to the line. But,
it was similar. It was similar in the sense that, like, Jaelyn is in first place and she gets caught on the hill, except Jaelyn gets past. Caitlin loses momentum, but holds off to win.
Yeah, I mean, going into this race. Yeah, no, I mean, going into this race for me, the billing was around Dudek, Bartlett, and Avery Lowen. I mean, that was like, you got the three best girls in the entire country. They haven't seen each other all season long. They've been breaking course records left and right. All right, let's finally get them on the same course and see what happens. And unfortunately, Avery Lowen was not in the mix because she had an unfortunate fall 800 meters into the race. Finished sixth, though, so a great recovery. And then you had Jaelyn Williams, who, the year prior was just dealing with some injuries and just was not, 100%. And so the ability, kind of to turn it around and gain that confidence back, for me, that was just great for her to even get third place. I mean, to get back in the All-American conversation, like that was a huge confidence builder for her. But, we are seeing, and here's the best part, I mean, best part of this all, I mean, obviously Jaelyn Williams is going off to Stanford next fall, but the best part is we're going to see Blair Bartlett and Natasha Dudek next year. I mean, this isn't like we're gonna see the returning champion. Unlike Jane graduates, we're going to have a returning champion again this next year, and without a doubt, I think those two girls, I think Blair knows how Natasha runs now. I mean, finishing second, you got to have a little bit of a chip on your shoulder. You know exactly what her cues are. You know what her moves are. I sure as heck know that her coach is going to get her prepared more than ever for those races next year when they meet again. But that's what we love about championship races is you want to see these matchups at the end of the day, and you want them to be close. You don't want them to be blowout races. As great as the race Jane had last year when she broke the course record, that was great. But it wasn't competitive. Like, you want to see those competitive championships. And both races this year were competitive. I mean, truly, on top of the fact that USA's was there, this was my favorite NXN I had ever been a part of, from a coverage perspective, just because you had great races that went right down to the wire. Then on top of the fact that you had, Team USA forming, going to the World Championships in Tallahassee. So it was a really great overall week that, was really kickstarted by an awesome, awesome girls championship race that, again, then we saw it again next week at Brooks. I mean, Blair Bartlett had a little bit of a momentum on Natasha Dudek, and Natasha found a little bit extra gear and was able to claim the another national title, the first girl, I believe, to win back-to-back weekends in NXN and Foot Locker / Brooks history.
Yeah, it's never been done before by a girl, and so that was. Yeah, it was a repeat from the previous week. The same girls. It was pretty awesome. Yeah.
Same order
Order
too.
too. Yeah. Yeah. It was wonderful. Well, I really appreciate you taking your time out of your busy week, and we look forward to seeing your interviews of the Bowerman athletes and your coverage over there in Dallas, Texas. Are you in Grapevine? What's the name of your?
We are in Grapevine. We are the Gaylord Texan Resort, I believe is what it's called.
Mhm.
They got a massive Christmas thing going on here
I
as
bet.
well. So it's not just coaches here at this hotel. It's pretty much like you got families with their kids running around. So you can only imagine how loud and obnoxious it can be a little bit, but no, it's fun. I always this is my second year coming to the convention. I went last year in Orlando for the very first time, and that was a cool experience. Got to hold the Bowerman Trophy last year as well, so that was awesome to do that and get to experience I mean, everyone says it's the Heisman of track and field, but the convention, or excuse me, the coaches association want to make it clear it's the Bowerman of track and field. They just want it to be its own thing.
Right.
So and that's what it is.
Well, that's going to be great. We'll look forward to watching your coverage of that and your interviews, and also with the pending ratification in the future on runnerspace.com. So look for
Yep.
Keenan there, and look for Keenan for all the coverage that's coming up during indoor season that's coming up January and
Yep.
February too. Take a
Another
little,
busy, another busy. This, as I say, I'm a broken record when I say this. It doesn't stop.
it does not stop. Track and field, cross country, we just keep running. So
Exactly.
thank you so much for coming on, Keenan, and I'll let you get back to your schedule there in Dallas, Texas.
Appreciate it, Ken. Always fun chatting with you. Happy holidays to all your listeners.
Yes, and have a happy new year. All right. Talk to you soon. Well, I want to thank Keenan Gray for being on today. As you heard, he is at the track and field coaches and cross country convention in Dallas, Texas, and took some time out of his busy schedule to talk to us. And it's just, as you can tell from the recording, he knows a lot about cross country and track, and it was awesome to hear what he thought were some of the highlights of the season for high school cross country athletes. So thank you so much, Keenan, for coming on. And we're winding down of the year 2025. Thanks you, Keenan, for coming on a number of times during this, our first year of doing this. So I thank you so much, Keenan, for doing that. I went to the Brooks XE Championship on Saturday. My wife, Diane, was there, and my daughter, Anna, was there. That means we had 3 cameras on the course. There are lots of different places that we were standing, and you can get all those great photos. If you happen to run the race, or you're coaching a kid or a parent, you can download those photos for free and have them. Make sure you follow us though on our Instagram account. And if you're just a fan of cross country and just want to see the photos, they're in our gallery at our website at westcoastxe.com or in our bio on our Instagram account at westcoastxe. So that is the wrap on the cross country season, and we will have some more episodes coming up during the break between cross country and track. So don't stop watching and listening. We're still here, still being fans of the sport. And also remember that the West Coast is the best coast. See you next time.